You tell yourself you're searching, that you're exploring, figuring things out, finding your path. But if you're honest, you're not lost, you're hiding. Hiding from the version of you that terrifies and electrifies you all at once. Not because you don't know who you are, but because you do. And the cost of becoming that person feels unbearable. Imagine this: the life you were meant to live stares at you in silence every day. It speaks in the things you envy, the people you resent, the dreams you sabotage before they form. It calls to you in the quiet, but you drown it with noise. Comfort, distraction, hesitation, dressed up as logic. You say you're waiting for clarity, but really, you're avoiding a war you know you'll have to fight alone. Why do you recoil from your own greatness? Why does the thought of your potential make your stomach tighten? It's not fear of failure. You failed before. It's fear of no longer having excuses. Fear that if you went all in, if you became the thing you glimpse in flashes, you'd lose your old self completely. And some part of you isn't ready to die. You look for signs, for timing, for permission, but they never come, because this isn't a path you find. It's a door you kick open, and deep down, you know the truth. You're not confused. You're stalling, not lost, just unwilling to burn the bridges that keep you ordinary. So what exactly are you protecting by playing small, and who would you become if you finally stopped? Nietzsche called it the will to power, that deep, often terrifying drive, not just to survive, but to become. Not to conform, but to rise beyond yourself, to shape reality from the raw clay of your own essence. But you've been trained to fear that impulse, because becoming you means breaking what the world built for you. From the moment you could speak, you were handed an identity, not chosen, assigned. Family, school, culture. They whispered who you should be, behave, fit in, don't be too much. Over time, the voice inside you, wild, primal, sovereign, was slowly wrapped in layers of shoulds. You became a mask with eyes. Psychologically, the ego wants safety, not truth. It protects you from pain, shame, rejection, even if it means abandoning your soul. Carl Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And that's what you're doing when you scroll, stall, self-sabotage. You're not confused. You're afraid of the light you buried. There's a myth in you, an archetype waiting to erupt. But to activate it, you'd have to let go of everything false. You'd have to step into chaos where control ends and creation begins. Nietzsche didn't glorify suffering for its own sake. He saw it as the crucible of authenticity. To become who you are, you must first kill who you were told to be. You've confused the fear of annihilation with the fear of growth, but they're not the same. One keeps you asleep, the other tears you open. And unless you confront the lies that built your identity, you'll keep circling the same emptiness, calling it purpose. You wake up heavy, not from fatigue, but from avoidance. You sense the disconnect, but you call it routine. You move through your days, performing, working, responding, showing up. But a strange dullness coats everything, not because life lacks meaning, but because you've sealed yourself off from the source of it. When you avoid who you could be, life becomes flat. You begin shrinking your goals to fit your fear. You chase achievement, not expansion, rewards, not revelation. You numb the ache with productivity, validation, small wins, but none of it satisfies, because none of it is yours. You're achieving in a costume. Even your suffering becomes familiar, safe. You cling to pain that fits your story. Failure you can predict, shame you can manage. True transformation would destroy your narrative. So you stay where you are, calling it realistic. But realism is often just trauma with good PR. You tell yourself you're not ready, but readiness is a myth. Life never gives you perfect conditions, just moments, and you've let 1,000 of them pass. Every time you said later, you carved deeper ruts of inertia, not out of laziness, but out of terror. The terror of shedding the version of you that people accept. And so your relationships echo the lie. You attract those who mirror your avoidance, who keep you safe, not sovereign. You crave depth, yet fear vulnerability. You want freedom, yet cling to comfort. And in this contradiction, you lose yourself, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 subtle abandonments of your truth. You don't need more clarity, you need more courage. Courage to stop negotiating with the false self. Courage to lose the identity that earned you love, but cost you your soul. Nietzsche didn't say become who they expect. He said become who you are. That's not a suggestion. it's a confrontation. This shift begins with one brutal question. What am I pretending not to know? The answers will hurt. They'll tear through your excuses, like fire through fog. But they'll also awaken something ancient, the will to become, to break, to forge. You were not built for obedience. You were built to shape reality with your presence. Jung called this process individuation, the integration of shadow, instinct, spirit. It's not about becoming better, it's about becoming whole. That means facing the parts you've disowned, the ambition, the aggression, the lust, the power. Not to indulge them blindly, but to reclaim them consciously. Power denied becomes poison. Power integrated becomes freedom. Stop asking for guarantees. There are none. Stop waiting for the fear to disappear. It won't. The only way out is through. You will be terrified. You will be judged. You will lose people. But you will find yourself. And that is the sacred trade. That is the fire no one can walk through for you. Begin with one step. Act from truth, not approval. Speak what you suppress. Choose discomfort over dullness. Move not because you're ready, but because your silence has become betrayal. You don't need a plan. You need a decision. Not to become someone new, but to finally become you. There will come a moment, quiet, invisible, when you realize no one is coming. No one will crown you, anoint you, or rescue you. The life you ache for won't arrive. It must be claimed, not through force, but through confrontation. Through the sacred violence of waking up. You were never truly lost. You just buried the map inside yourself, covered it with guilt, fear, perfectionism, and expectation. But it never left. It was always there. In the tension you feel when you lie to yourself, in the fire behind your eyes when you imagine a life that finally fits. Your pain was never the enemy. It was the signal, the proof that you were living below your level, the alarm bell that your soul kept ringing while you kept pretending. And if you're brave enough to listen, really listen, you'll hear what it's been saying all along. Stand up, burn the script, begin again. You may never feel ready, you may never be certain, but you are not here to rehearse, you are here to embody. To bring forth the version of you that would rather risk everything than betray himself one more time. Not to impress, not to succeed, but to finally feel whole. So no, you're not lost. You're standing at the edge, staring at the person you were meant to become. And the only thing left is to step